The galaxy had not seen a human in 300 years. They were whispers in the dark, creatures of chaos, extinct after the last Terran War, or so everyone believed. Queen Valara of the Cliff Dominion ruled 10 star systems. She was 8 feet tall, her skin glimmering like silver stone under twin suns. Her voice could command fleets, and her eyes pale blue, glowing faintly, had seen the fall of empires. To most, she was divine. To her enemies, she was a god of war, but beneath the armor and glory, Valara felt something she never admitted: boredom. For centuries, every world had bowed, every army had fallen. No challenge remained. Her advisors feared her silence more than her rage. Then came the transmission. A distress beacon. Weak, ancient, human coded. Her generals dismissed it as interference, but Valara's curiosity stirred. Humans were a myth, now a ghost race. Yet the code was unmistakable. It came from the uncharted edges of Sector 9, a region swallowed by radiation storms and dead colonies. She decided to go herself. The Valkyra, her flagship, cut through space like a spear of light. The bridge was quiet as the ship entered the storm. Static filled the screens. The crew's eyes flicked nervously to their queen. She showed no fear. When the storm broke, a small structure appeared on the scanners, a crashed ship, old and rusted, half buried in alien dust. Human design, whispered her science officer. Valara's lips curved slightly. Prepare the landing craft. The air outside was thin and metallic. Lightning danced across the horizon, painting the wreck in blue flashes. Her guards moved ahead, scanning for life. The hull was cracked open, showing old Terran symbols worn by time. Then they found him, a human. He was half-conscious, lying beside a ruined stasis pod. His hair was dark, his skin pale from cryosleep. A strange mark glowed faintly on his wrist, something not human, something alive. Valara stared. Impossible, she murmured. The man opened his eyes, blue, clear, and painfully human. Please, he whispered, don't kill me. Her guards raised their weapons, but she lifted a hand. No, she said quietly. Bring him. In the medical chamber aboard the Valkyra, the human's condition worsened. His blood was different. The scanners struggled to read his DNA. It was human, yes, but something else threaded through it, something alien. Who are you? Valara asked when he awoke. He looked at her, confusion and fear in his eyes. My name's Kai. I think. I was on a research ship. We were testing something. What were you testing? She pressed. He shook his head. I don't remember. It feels like it was a dream, but something went wrong. Valara's eyes narrowed. You shouldn't exist, human. Your kind vanished centuries ago. Kai frowned weakly. Then why am I still here? The room fell silent. Over the next days, Valara observed him through the glass of the lab. He healed faster than expected, stronger every hour. Her scientists warned her his DNA was unstable, mutating rapidly. He was changing. One night, as the ship drifted near a dying sun, Valara entered his room alone. He was awake, sitting by the viewport, staring at the stars. They told me what I am, he said softly. That I'm not fully human anymore. You carry 2 legacies, Valara replied. One extinct, one unknown. He smiled sadly. Then maybe that's why I'm alive, to remind your universe that humanity doesn't stay dead. Something about his voice unsettled her. For the first time in centuries, the Queen felt something new, a flicker of unease. The next day, alarms blared. Kai collapsed. His body convulsed as light burned beneath his skin. The medics panicked. His DNA was rewriting itself in real time, forming new sequences no one had ever seen. Valara rushed in as her scientists screamed. He's merging with something. One shouted. Then the light burst out, shattering glass, flooding the room. When it faded, Kai lay still. Velara approached cautiously. His eyes opened, glowing with the same pale blue light as hers. "Your Majesty," said her trembling aide. "His DNA, it's matching yours." Velara froze. Kai looked at her and whispered, "I think I borrowed something from you." The queen took a step back. Her heart, long thought silent, pounded once more. This was no ordinary human. Something ancient had awakened in him, something that linked their species in ways she could not yet understand, and for the first time in centuries, the ruler of 10 systems felt fear. Asterisk, the medical wing of the Valkyra smelled like ozone and burning steel. The machines around Kai flickered wildly, unable to keep up with the energy pulsing through his body. Blue veins of light crawled beneath his skin, twisting like electric roots. Queen Velara stood motionless, watching through the reinforced glass. Her heart once cold as the void beat fast. She had seen black holes devour stars, but never had she seen life itself rewrite its own code. "Kai's DNA is merging with yours," said Dr. Nareth, her chief biologist. His voice shook. "It's impossible, Your Majesty. Somehow, when you touched him, your biofield reacted with his altered genes. Now his cells are copying yours." Velara's silver eyes hardened. "So he is becoming Clith?" "No," whispered Nareth. "He's becoming something between." Inside the containment chamber, Kay's eyes snapped open. His vision blurred. He saw colors that didn't exist, felt the hum of the ship in his bones. His heart pounded, slow but heavy, like it belonged to something not entirely human. He stood. The restraints holding him cracked and fell away like dust. The guards rushed in. "Stop!" shouted Velara. "Do not fire." Kai looked at them, not with anger, but confusion. "I don't know what's happening to me," he said, his voice echoing slightly, layered with a faint harmonic tone. "Everything feels alive. The ship, the stars, you." Velara stepped closer. "You are not dying," she said. "You are evolving." Kai laughed softly, but it sounded more like pain. "Then why does it feel like I'm being erased?" For days, he stayed under watch. The scientists ran endless scans, but every hour his genetic pattern shifted. He could lift heavy machinery with one hand. His wounds sealed in seconds. Even his breath carried faint energy signatures. Velara often watched him from the observation deck. She told herself it was curiosity, but something deeper pulled her. He reminded her of what the Clith had lost: emotion, uncertainty, the raw will to survive. One night, as the Valkyra floated above a dying red world, she entered his chamber again. Kai was sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at his hands. The blue glow under his skin pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. "You shouldn't come near me," he said quietly. "I'm not safe." Velara tilted her head. "And yet you saved yourself without harming anyone." He looked up. "That wasn't me. It was something inside me, something ancient. It's whispering things I don't understand." "What things?" Kai hesitated. Then he whispered, "That I'm not the first. That someone or something used human DNA long ago. And that you, Velara, are connected to it." Her eyes widened. "You dare." "Wait," he interrupted softly. "Look at this." He pressed his hand to the glass. His palm glowed brighter, and for a moment, Velara felt a pulse inside her mind, like a memory that wasn't hers, a battlefield. A dying human queen standing beside a Clith warrior. Two species sharing blood to stop extinction. Velara gasped and stepped back. "What did you show me?" Kai's eyes dimmed. "The truth," he said. "Our kinds were never enemies. We were one once." The next day, the Valkyra shook violently. An enemy fleet, the Drovik Legion, had entered orbit. They had hunted the Clith for centuries, waiting for a weakness. "Shields up," barked the commander. Velara strode to the bridge. "Prepare for battle." But then Kai appeared beside her, escorted by guards who looked terrified. "Let me help," he said. Valara turned sharply. "You can barely control yourself." Kai's gaze was calm. "You don't need control. You need power." Before she could stop him, he walked to the viewport. The Drovik ships opened fire hundreds of plasma bolts. Screaming through space. Kai raised a hand. The bolts froze mid-flight. Every console on the bridge flickered. The crew stared as the glowing projectiles began to dissolve into dust. Then, with a quiet exhale, Kai redirected the energy outward. A single pulse of light erupted from the Vakera, tearing through the Drovik fleet like a wave of fire. Seconds later, silence. The enemy was gone. No one spoke. Only the sound of the engines filled the air. Kai turned to Valara. "Now do you believe me?" She stared at him, her perfect composure broken. "What are you?" He looked down at his hands. "Something your people started. And my people finished." That night, Valara couldn't sleep. The echo of his power lingered in her mind. Her scientists confirmed it. His DNA and hers had formed a living code, capable of controlling energy itself. But that meant something terrifying. If he continued changing, he wouldn't stay half human or half cliff. He'd become something new, something the universe had never seen, and the question haunted her. Would that being still be Kai? Or something that saw gods and rulers as fragile toys? The Vakera drifted through silent space, its once busy corridors now filled with whispers and fear. The crew walked quickly, avoiding the medical wing where the half-human was kept. They called him the hybrid, though never loud enough for the Queen to hear. Queen Valara sat alone in her private chamber. The stars outside painted her silver skin in shades of blue. She had ruled for 400 years. She had crushed rebellions, faced assassins, watched worlds burn, and yet, nothing had ever shaken her like this one man. She could still feel it, his power. That terrible, beautiful light that had stopped an entire fleet. For the first time in her long life, Queen Valara felt small. Her advisor, General Threx, entered with a stiff bow. "My queen," he said, "the council demands answers. They believe the human is a threat to your life and to the Empire." Valara's eyes glowed faintly. "The council fears what it cannot control." "With respect," Threx said carefully, "so should you. Whatever he is becoming, it is not stable. He could destroy this ship or worse." Valara turned slowly toward him. "He saved us, General. He could have killed everyone on that bridge. But he didn't." Threx hesitated. "Perhaps not yet." Later, Valara walked the lower decks, her cloak trailing softly over the metal floor. The ship was quiet, too quiet. The crew avoided her gaze, whispering rumors. "The Queen has bonded with a ghost. The human is changing her." She hated how those words made her chest tighten. At the end of the corridor, she stopped outside Kai's chamber. Through the glass, he stood near the viewport, staring into the stars. His once pale skin now shimmered faintly like hers. His hair held threads of silver, glowing softly in the dark. When he noticed her, he smiled gently. "You came back." Valara stepped closer. "You should be resting." "I can't," he said. "Every time I close my eyes, I see things. Memories that aren't mine. Planets, battles, faces I don't know." She folded her arms. "Your transformation is accelerating. Soon, you may not be human or anything else." Kai looked down. "Maybe that's what evolution is, becoming something new, even if it means losing who you were." Valara hesitated. "And what happens when what you become is more powerful than everything that exists?" He met her gaze. "Then it depends on who teaches it right from wrong." For the first time, Valara had no answer. That night, she dreamed that she stood in an endless white field under twin suns. A man stood before her, human, but glowing, his voice echoing like wind through water. "You have woken what should have stayed asleep," he said. "Who are you?" She demanded, The memory of what you once were, he replied. Long ago your kind and mine were one. But your people erased the past, buried the truth under conquest. I am not afraid of truth, she said. Then remember this, he whispered. What binds you to him is not fate, it is correction. Before she could answer, the vision shattered. She woke up gasping, her hands trembling. Her reflection in the mirror startled her. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever, the same hue as Kai's. The next morning, alarm screamed through the Valkyra. Unauthorized biosignal in the core chamber. Shouted a voice over the comms. Velara rushed to the bridge. Report. It's him, Your Majesty, said Threx grimly. The hybrid is in the reactor room. She didn't wait for guards. She sprinted through the corridors, cape flowing like shadow. When she reached the core, Kai was standing before the energy sphere that powered the entire ship. What are you doing? She demanded. He turned, eyes glowing brighter than the reactor itself. It's calling me. I can feel it. Like it's alive. Kai, step away, she ordered. He shook his head slowly. It's not a machine, Velara. It's a living core same energy that's inside me. Don't you see? Your people didn't build this. They found it. Her pulse quickened. That's impossible, is it? He said softly. Because right now, it's speaking to me in your language. The energy sphere pulsed, and the lights across the ship flickered. Alarms blared again. The ship's I voice screamed. Deanna match detected Queen Velara and Subject Kai. Synchronization beginning. Velara stumbled back. Stop this. But Kai only closed his eyes. I can't, it's connecting us. A wave of light burst outward, engulfing them both. For a moment, time froze. Velara saw fragments her memories. His memories spinning together like shards of glass melting into one. Then darkness. When the light faded, they were both lying on the floor, breathing hard. The reactor hummed softly, stable again. Velara opened her eyes first. Kai was beside her, unconscious but alive. And when she looked at her hands, she saw the faint blue veins under her skin, his mark. Back on the bridge. Her officers stared in horror as she entered. Your Majesty, whispered Threx. Your blood. It's changing. She ignored him, eyes fixed on the viewport where the stars seemed brighter, sharper, more alive. Kai has not infected me, she said quietly. He has. Awakened something. And though her voice was calm, deep inside, the Queen of 10 Systems felt the tremor of fear. Fear that maybe her empire was not the most powerful force in the galaxy anymore. Maybe he was. And maybe now she was part of him. Asterisk the Valkyra floated in deep space, silent as a grave. Inside, whispers spread faster than light. The crew had seen the impossible, their queen glowing with alien light, standing beside the human who defied death itself. Rumors turned into fear. Fear turned into rebellion. The Cliff Council, ancient rulers who had served Velara once, sent their judgment. Their message was short. You have broken the sacred laws of blood. You are no longer queen of the Cliff Dominion. You are contaminated. The transmission ended with an order. Destroy the Valkyra and all aboard. Vaelar. A stood in the command chamber, her eyes hard as steel. The galaxy outside looked calm, but inside her chest, a storm raged. She had fought wars, crushed uprisings, conquered planets. But this betrayal cut deeper than any blade. Her own people were coming to kill her. General Threx stood beside her, expression cold. My queen, you know what they will do. They have already sent a fleet. I am still your queen, she said sharply. Threx lowered his eyes. You were, he whispered, until you became something else. She froze. In that moment, she understood. He had already chosen a side. Kai entered the chamber, his steps quiet but confident. His eyes glowed faintly, same as hers now. When he looked at Velara, she saw the same question that haunted her own thoughts. What are we becoming? The Council will destroy us both, she said flatly. They call you a disease. Kai smiled sadly. They're not wrong. I am changing everything I touch. Velara turned away. You didn't ask for this. No, he said softly. But neither did you. He stepped closer. Let me help you, Velara. I can stop their fleet before it reaches us. She spun around, anger flashing in her eyes. You'll do no such thing. You don't even understand what you are. He met her gaze calmly. Then maybe it's time I find out. Hours later, alarms roared through the Valkyra. Multiple warp signatures detected. Shouted the helmsman. Council fleet incoming 10 dreadnoughts, 2 carriers. The massive ships appeared like burning stars, forming a ring around the Valkyra. Velara stared at the view screen. Open channel. The image of the High Chancellor flickered to life. An old cliff with golden eyes and a cruel smile. Velara, he said, voice smooth as poison. You were once our brightest star. But now you've let a human infect our bloodline. Your empire is finished. Velara's jaw tightened. I gave you peace, prosperity, power. You gave us shame, he hissed. You will be erased. The transmission cut. Missiles launched. The first explosions rocked the Valkyrie. Alarms screamed. Fire tore across the lower decks. Velara's officers shouted orders, but she stood frozen for a heartbeat until Kai appeared beside her. His hand brushed hers. Let me protect you, he said quietly. Something in his voice, calm, steady, reached through her anger. She gave a small nod. Do it. Kai closed his eyes. Outside the ship, the stars began to pulse. His body glowed brighter. Threads of light stretching out from him, weaving through the metal hull of the Valkyra. The ship itself responded like it was alive. Shields flaring back to life. The next volley of missiles hit and disintegrated mid-air. As if space itself refused to obey the enemy. On the bridge, the crew stared in awe. Kai opened his eyes again, but they were no longer just blue. They shimmered with silver fire, the same color as Velara's skin. He looked at her. We're linked, you and I. The ship listens to me because it listens to you. Velara took a breath. Then we fight together. They fought like no two beings ever had. Velara commanded her fleet with precision and fury. Kai became the weapon, bending light, turning enemy fire into pure energy. Sending it back tenfold, the Council's armada burned in silence when it was over. The stars were littered with wreckage, but victory brought no peace. Because as the fires faded, Velara noticed something horrifying. The skin on Kai's arm flickered, turning partly translucent like living glass. His veins pulsed with pure light. He was changing again. Later, in the quiet of the observation deck, Velara approached him. He stood staring into the void, glowing faintly. You saved us all, she said softly. He smiled faintly. Did I? Or did I just prove their fears right? She frowned. You're not a monster, Kai. Maybe not yet, he whispered. But I can feel it, Velara. Whatever's inside me, it's growing. It doesn't just want to survive. It wants to spread. Velara's throat tightened. Spread? He turned to her, eyes glowing brighter than ever. If I don't stop it, I won't be me anymore. And it won't stop with me. It'll reach everything I touch. Even you. She stared at him, heart pounding. Then we'll find a way to stop it, she said firmly. But even as she spoke, she could feel the faint pulse in her veins, the same light that lived in him, and deep down. She already knew. It had already begun. The Valkyra drifted above a shattered moon. The wrecks of the Council's ships glowed like dying embers, fading into the black sea of stars. The battle was over, but inside the ship, something far greater was beginning. Kai lay unconscious in the med chamber, his body suspended in a stasis field. The light under his skin flickered like a pulse from another world. Every few seconds, The machines around him glowed brighter, as if feeding off his energy instead of controlling it. Queen Velara stood beside the glass chamber, her reflection merging with his. The ship hummed beneath her feet like a heartbeat. She had stopped sleeping. Her dreams were no longer her own, they were his. She could see what he saw, feel what he felt, and worst of all, she was changing too. Her blood glowed faintly now, and when she walked past control panels, they came alive without her touching them. She could sense the thoughts of her soldiers, the hum of engines, the pulse of the ship. It was beautiful. And terrifying. Dr. Nerith approached carefully, his face pale. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "it's spreading." Velara didn't look away from Kai. "Explain." "The connection between you and the human. It's no longer biological. It's quantum. Your DNA and his are entangled across every cell. His evolution, whatever it is rewriting both of you." She turned her head slightly. "Can it be stopped?" Nerith hesitated. "If we separate you, Your Majesty, one of you will die." Velara's voice went quiet. "And if we do nothing?" He swallowed hard. "Then you both become something new. Something beyond our understanding." She nodded slowly, gaze still locked on the glowing man inside the chamber. "Then we do nothing." Hours later, the Vakera floated in silence. Inside the med bay, the glass chamber cracked. A soft hiss escaped as Kai's eyes opened, brighter than ever, twin orbs of living light. The room's power surged. Lights flickered, gravity wavered. Velara entered, calm but tense. "Kai," she whispered, "can you hear me?" He turned his head toward her, and for a moment she didn't see the human scientist who had begged for his life on a dead world. She saw something ancient, something looking through him. "I hear everything," he said. His voice echoed like two tones speaking as one. "Every signal, every thought, every heartbeat on this ship. It's beautiful. You must control it," Velara warned. He smiled faintly. "You can feel it too, can't you? The connection between everything. The life inside the metal. The pulse of creation itself." Velara stepped closer. "You're losing yourself." He shook his head. "No, I'm finding what I was meant to be." The ship trembled. On the bridge, alarms flared. "Energy surge in the med bay," shouted an officer. "Power levels are off the charts." Velara felt it before the report even came. She felt the ship's pain. Every spark, every tremor. Her hands clenched, light spilled from her fingertips. Her guards tried to follow her, but she raised her hand. "Stay back," she ordered. "He's not our enemy." She entered the med bay just as Kai's stasis field shattered. The glow around him expanded like wings of light. The walls rippled as if space itself bent to his breath. Velara called his name. "Kai, look at me." He turned slowly. His eyes met hers, and in that instant, their minds collided. She saw everything. His human past, his pain, his loneliness. And deeper than that, something alien, vast and eternal, stretching across galaxies. Then he spoke, his voice quiet but echoing in her mind. "Do you see it now, Velara? The truth your ancestors buried?" "What truth?" She demanded. "That your people were born from us. The first humans. You are our echo, shaped by time and power." Velara's breath caught. "That's impossible." He smiled sadly. "You said that when you saw me breathe light." The floor shook again. The ship's AI screamed warnings. Quantum instability detected. Reality distortion within hull. Velara pressed forward, struggling against the force radiating from him. "Kai, you're tearing the ship apart." His expression twisted in pain. "I can't hold it. There's too much energy." She reached him and grabbed his hand. Instantly, the light around him dimmed. Their eyes locked. Her voice trembled. "You're not alone. Do you hear me? You're not alone." For a moment, everything stilled. The energy folded inward, absorbed by both of them. The light vanished, leaving only silence. When it cleared, they were standing in the middle of the room alive, breathing hard, and holding each other's hands. Kai's glow was gone now. His eyes, though still bright, looked human again. Velara looked down at her own hand. The veins beneath her skin shimmered faintly. "What did you do?" she whispered. Kai smiled weakly. "Balanced it. We're linked, two halves of one code. Neither human nor Clith, something in between." "And what are we now?" she asked quietly. He looked out the viewport, where the stars shimmered like silver rain. "The beginning," he said softly. "Or the end. I'm not sure which." That night, as the ship floated through the dark, Velara watched him sleep. His face looked peaceful, almost innocent again. But deep inside, she could feel it, an ocean of energy waiting beneath his skin. She whispered to herself, "You changed me, human. But what if you changed the universe too?" Outside, the stars pulsed once, faintly like they were answering her. The Valkyra sailed through the black silence of deep space, its engines glowing faintly. But something had changed. The stars didn't look the same anymore. They seemed to move when Kai stared at them, as if bending slightly toward him, like the universe itself was watching. He stood on the observation deck, quiet, his reflection shimmering faintly in the glass. His skin no longer glowed like before, but the air around him hummed softly, almost alive. He didn't breathe the same. He didn't feel the same. Every thought, every heartbeat, sent ripples through the space around him. He was no longer a man trying to survive. He was something else. Something even he couldn't define. Queen Velara approached, her armor shining under the dim blue light. "Kai," she said softly, "you haven't slept in days." He smiled faintly. "How can I sleep when I can hear the stars?" Velara frowned. "Hear them?" He nodded. "They sing, faintly, like old voices calling from the dark." She stepped beside him, looking out. "And what do they say?" Kai's voice lowered. "They say, they remember me." In the control room, Dr. Nerith watched their readings in silence. Every scanner showed impossible data, gravitational waves reacting to Kai's pulse, radio frequencies echoing his neural patterns, even time slightly bending near his location. He turned to the crew, voice trembling. "He's not evolving anymore," he said. "He's awakening," one officer whispered. "Awakening into what?" Nerith swallowed. "Into something the universe has been waiting for." That night, the dreams began. Velara awoke in her chamber, heart pounding. She wasn't in bed anymore. She stood in a vast white space filled with drifting light. A shadow moved through the mist, tall, glowing, ancient. "Kai?" She called out, but the figure shook its head slowly. Its voice was deep, echoing in her bones. "He carries my memory, my power. But I am not him. Who are you?" she asked, stepping forward. "I am what your ancestors feared. I am the origin of all life beyond the veil. And now, through him, I live again." Velara's fists clenched. "You will not harm him." The figure's laughter was like thunder. "He is not yours to protect, Queen of Ash. He is mine, and through him I shall wake the universe once more." Before she could move, the light exploded around her. She woke up screaming. Kai burst into her chamber seconds later. "Velara, what happened?" She stared at him, breath shaking. "There's something inside you, Kai, something. Ancient." He hesitated. "I've seen it too," he admitted quietly. "When I close my eyes, I see a being made of light. It speaks through my thoughts. It says it's been sleeping for 1,000,000,000 years. What does it want?" she asked. Kai's expression darkened. "To return. And it wants to use me to do it." The ship's alarm suddenly wailed. Nerith's voice crackled through the comms. "Your Majesty! Something is forming in space ahead of us, Not a ship, not a star. It's alive. Velara and Kai ran to the bridge. Outside the viewport, a colossal shape unfolded from the dark, a sphere of living light the size of a moon. It pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. The crew gasped. Kai froze. "I know it," he whispered. "It's calling to me." Velara turned sharply. "You are not going to it." But he stepped forward, eyes glowing. "I have to. It's part of me, or I'm part of it." Velara blocked his path. "You think this is destiny? It's a trap. That thing isn't your origin, it's your prison." Kai's eyes met hers, soft but determined. "If I don't go, everyone here will die. I can feel it. It's pulling the ship's power. It needs to connect or it'll crush us trying." She gritted her teeth. "Then I'm going with you." Minutes later, the two of them stepped into the shuttle. The Valkyra faded behind them as they flew toward the massive sphere. The closer they came, the more reality itself twisted. Stars bent like reflections in water. As they neared the surface, the shuttle systems failed. The lights dimmed. Gravity vanished. Kai stood, weightless, his body glowing again. "It's waiting." "Waiting for what?" Velara whispered. He looked back at her, sadness in his eyes. "For me to remember what I am." Then he floated toward the sphere. The moment he touched it, a shock wave of light burst outward. Velara screamed his name. "Kai!" As the light swallowed him, and then silence. When the glow faded, the sphere was gone. The shuttle drifted alone in the dark. Velara looked out into the stars, trembling. "Kai," she whispered. Her cum crackled. "Velara." She froze. His voice, faint, distant, but unmistakable. "I'm still here," he said softly. "But I'm not the same." She looked out at the empty space. "Where are you?" His voice echoed gently. "Everywhere." The stars around her pulsed once, softly, like a heartbeat echoing through eternity. And in that moment, she realized the truth. Kai hadn't died. He had become the very thing that once created life across galaxies. The god within had awakened, and now, the universe itself had a human heart. The universe was no longer silent. Every star sang now, low, soft, endless. A hum that echoed through the fabric of space, through time, through the soul of every living being. Queen Velara sat alone on the bridge of the Valkyra, her silver eyes glowing faintly in the dim starlight. The ship floated among the remains of broken moons, silent witnesses to something far greater than war. It had been 7 days since Kai vanished into the sphere of living light. 7 days since the universe changed, and she could still hear his voice. Sometimes it came in whispers, a breath in the engines, a pulse in her heartbeat. Sometimes in dreams, where he stood beside her, smiling gently, his voice calm. "Don't fear the light, Velara. You are part of it now." Dr. Nerith entered quietly, breaking her thoughts. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "the readings are beyond explanation. Gravity waves are stabilizing across thousands of systems. Dead planets are showing signs of atmosphere again. It's as if life itself is being rewritten." Velara finished for him. Nerith nodded. "By him?" She looked out into the endless black. "By us," she said quietly. "He and I are connected. He awakened the code of creation itself, and some part of me still shares it." The Valkyra descended toward the ruins of an old world, once scorched, now slowly greening again. Strange vines shimmered across the cracked surface, glowing softly in the dark. Velara stepped onto the soil. It pulsed faintly under her boots, like a living heartbeat. She closed her eyes. The wind carried a voice. "You came back." Her heart stopped for a second. "Kai?" She whispered. The air shimmered, and a figure of light began to take shape. Tall, radiant, almost human. His features were soft, familiar. His eyes, blue as distant oceans, met hers. "Kai," she breathed. Stepping forward, he smiled gently. I'm not what I was, Velara. I exist in every molecule, every atom. But I remember you. She stood still, afraid to blink. What have you become? He looked up at the bright sky, where stars pulsed like living hearts. Something between man and God, he said quietly. The energy that created the first spark of life now flows through me. But it's not power I wanted. It's balance. Balance? She echoed. The universe was breaking, he said. Races fought. Empires fell. Life forgot its purpose. I didn't just stop that. I'm rebuilding it. Guiding it. Velara's eyes filled with emotion. And what of me? What am I now? He stepped closer, light brushing against her skin. You are part of the same song. My echo in the material world. Where I create, you lead. Where I guide, you protect. Thunder rolled in the distance. The ground beneath them shimmered, and new flowers burst from the soil, glowing softly in every color of the galaxy. Velara knelt and touched one. So much life, she whispered. It's beautiful. Kai smiled. You once ruled with fear, Velara. But now you will rule with hope. She looked up at him, voice trembling. And you? Will I ever see you again? Not as light, but as you? Kai's expression softened. Close your eyes. She obeyed. When she opened them, he stood before her, human again, his skin warm, his heartbeat strong. His hand reached out and brushed her cheek. For now, he said softly. Just for this moment. Velara's eyes shimmered with tears, something she hadn't allowed herself in centuries. You changed me, Kai. You changed everything. He smiled sadly. And you reminded me what it means to be human. Above them, the clouds broke apart, revealing the twin suns. The light poured over the valley, warm, golden, alive. Across the stars, the transformation spread. Old dying worlds reignited. Dead moons bloomed. Oceans refilled themselves. Creatures born from dust awoke under new skies. The universe was healing, reborn under the touch of something both divine and human. As the suns rose higher, Kai stepped back, his body fading into light again. Where are you going? Velara whispered. He smiled gently. Everywhere. To finish what I started. But you'll never be alone. I live in every breath you take, in every spark of life. Her voice broke. And if I call your name? The air shimmered softly around her. Then I will answer. He vanished, a wave of light fading into the horizon. Velara stood alone in the quiet valley. But this time, she didn't feel grief. She felt life, flowing through her veins, through the wind, through the stars themselves. The Queen of 10 Systems knelt on the soil of a reborn world and whispered, Rest now, Kai. The universe is awake again. Above her, the stars pulsed once, slow, soft, and steady, like a heartbeat shared across all of creation.